This is the Week 10 fantasy football preview of the Cincinnati Bengals at Baltimore Ravens. Brought to you by Fantasy Football Time. Follow us at Fantasy FB Time on all social media platforms. Welcome to Week 10, Bengals and Ravens fans. Bengals looking to get to 500, which after a slow start, they will take at this point. Ravens on a roll. Cincinnati Bengals crushed Las Vegas last week. Joe Burrow goes off with 5 touchdowns, getting 34 fantasy points. Surprisingly, Ja'Marr Chase does not have a big day. T. Higgins also being out, so you'd figure Chase would do something, but Chase Brown does. 120 yards, 30 in the air with a touchdown. Gesicki, welcome back Gesicki. 5 catches, 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. My goodness. And I threw on there Drew Sample, who got one of those touchdowns as well. Baltimore also crushes Denver. Lamar Jackson has a great game in a very Lamar way. 3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. Derrick Henry gets 2. I think he's scored 1 to 2 touchdowns every game this season. It's just incredible. Zay Flowers gets 27 fantasy points, finally getting on the board from a touchdown. First one of the season since week 2, let alone putting 2 on the board. He goes off for 127 yards. Dionte Johnson, 0 targets? How on earth? Well, I mean, it's his first week with the team. Probably just kind of being decoy, but there are a lot of mouths to feed. I think Harbaugh said that they are easing him into things. Well, too bad if you played him. Sorry about that. Mark Andrews cools off with only 2 catches. Looking at this week, awesome over-under. Baltimore is the home favorite. Bengals bring your usual suspects. T. Higgins looks doubtful this week. Brown has emerged as the top running back. Gesicki, 8 fantasy points projected. I would not play Khalil Herbert this week. Chase Brown is just playing too dominant. Does not make sense to put him. So you can leave Herbert on the bench if you do have him. Ravens defense over the last 3 games held Denver to 10, but surprisingly enough allowed 29 to Cleveland, a game which they lost, and 31 at Tampa Bay, who does have weapons. So do the Bengals. So I would imagine that Burrow can get 3 to 4 touchdowns for the week across the throwing and running game. The Ravens, unfortunately, have not really turned the ball over very much. 4 turnovers in 3 weeks. It's un-Raven-like. Looking at the Ravens offense, you have this powerhouse. Now, I think the top 4 are really your playable options. Dionte Johnson, after a quiet week last week. Rashad Bateman also is touchdown dependent. You could probably skip those 2, but you got to play Jackson, Henry, Flowers, and Andrews. Bengals defense in the last 3 weeks held Vegas to 24, Philly to 30, allowed 37 versus Philly, but then held Cleveland to 14. Only 4 turnovers in the last 3 weeks. So I think we're going to definitely see the over on this 53-point projection. Thanks so much for watching. Follow and subscribe at Fantasy FB Time. Welcome to Week 10. God bless.